there, there, and of course, where is music? Oh. Yeah, you got audio now, guys. I'm,
There we go.
working on some things. OBS has been
Okay.
wonky lately. They can hear everyone.
Hi, Cinemetro. Hi, Artherin. Hi, Steve Husband. And yes, my brother may be in the house. I saw he pledged $1.
So I need to be track 1. So 2. Oh, why is this thing being stubborn? Explain to me, Jill. Why is it being stubborn?
Oh, 'cause we're live.
Oh, right.
Fire Panda. Fire Panda. That's what it. That's what fire is in Twitch, I guess. Yeah, that's a good gif. Artherin.
So we got everything wired out to the stream. I got you on track 3 and 4. All right, OBS. Me and OBS have been going at it lately because they've messed up.
Oh boy, a new update. Did the update mess some things up?
They're playing around with a new build system.
Oh, okay.
Hey everyone, we've been here the whole time, just having fun, chilling out, doing that thing. We
Yeah.
do. On top of new things, I gotta remember. You know what I'm gonna do right now is at the top of Linux Gamecast Weekly, I'm gonna put a note to myself. Double check OBS.
Yes. And here I thought it was Reaper's fault.
Well, it's getting the audio, it's doing all the things. What I had to do is everything's wired in correctly. Everything's coming into OBS just fine. The problem is for whatever reason, OBS decided, hey man, you know what? All that advanced audio routing that you've done in the mixer, nah, we're just not gonna have any of that set up. So they decided to get some of that stuff set up, and here we are. Look at that, we even beat the bot. So that's not necessarily running back, running late.
Hey,
running
you're
just
doing
on
great,
time.
Ben. An E2E test.
So what exactly is an E2E test, Jill?
Yeah, I don't know. I was gonna ask him.
My first thought is like an end-to-end
Cinemetro.
test.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, which you sometimes can't do unless you're actually live.
You see, one
So
of the
that's
fun
a
things,
thing.
one of the neat features that Twitch has is not that ability. YouTube, I can do it all day
yeah.
long. I can spool up a stream,
Yes.
and it's not a
Oh,
problem.
hello, Ateprez.
It's
Leet speak.
Auto PR3Z.
Yeah, Ateprez. Leet.
So this is the life hack. Anyone, if anybody comes in with a lead speak name, just read it out normal a couple of times, and they'll come back and tell you what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, Autoprez. That makes sense. Okay. Cool.
It's raining oil. Steve, where's my Hot Wheels 70s party van?
I think we got a couple of those here.
I don't know. I was disappointed. I asked Steve yesterday, man. I'm like, hey, Steve, have you made a designed an Hot Wheels
Hot Wheels
party van? Because, I could definitely see back in the days Steve driving around like one of those 70s, like wizard panel vans.
Mm-hmm.
With like a moon window on the side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a thing. I like the flower child bus.
A dense computer. See, I prefer to buy intelligent computers. There's nothing wrong with dense computers, Bon.
This is the densest computer. Oh, Jeff. Oh, how funny. Oh, yeah, just everything's tight in there tight, huh? Yeah, I see. Yep, it definitely is. Big, chunky, and tight.
More power to everybody who does it, but making like the super small, ultra compact, small form factor cases, I don't get it. We've been over it a million times. I don't get it. I can respect it. If you like hardware torture, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they should come with like a little like black leather studded zipper cover for the case.
Yes.
Because you're just punishing.
Hey, Oil of Hope. Hello.
So what do we got to talk about today? Let's have a look. Wacom tablets, Wacom's.
Yeah. Whack 'em, wake 'em, wake 'em, whack 'em.
Mastodon 3.5. We got some new Thunder Chickens in our life. I'm going to talk about a MIDI program because, hey, man, it's been a while since we've talked about MIDI programs on this show. And, of course, what everyone tunes in to a Linux show for, Windows 10 talk. It's coming up.
Yes, here we go. Set up that Windows 10 on Linux. Yay.
You're supposed to put Linux
Oh, there's
in
your
Windows
party
10.
bus. Yeah.
That looks like a graffiti artist got a hold to an armored car. That's what that looks like.
Oh, and Arthur, it's Disney. Steve and I are going to Disneyland tomorrow for his birthday, and it's our 25th anniversary. So we have a lot to celebrate this week. We're going to be really busy.
Funny money. I don't know. I have an interesting relationship with the person who drives the armored
thanks, Cinemetro.
money vehicle at the local grocery because I know they come on multiple days, but I've seen the guy who drives that, and I wave at him now, where he's got to assume something's up. But it's the coincidence. Like every time I go to this grocery, they're parked out front. I'm like, hey, man. Oh, man. Yeah, you got to do some artistic impressions. I don't know. I'm not feeling the hippie wagon on that. I mean, I like the spirit of it. Let's like basically take something that's 3 degrees off of an armored personnel carrier.
Yeah.
Put some peace and love and some sunshine paraphernalia on it. And some criminally underrated wheels.
Yeah, it's still nice to see. There's still people who drive around here in their hippie wagons, but I like it. That's cool. We always have them here because of the beach and everything, and it's the lifestyle. So there's always a lot of them around. Yeah.
Microbus. I thought about buying a microbus a long time ago. Intelligent people talked me out of it. Like, you don't want to tinker with that Type 2 VDOB engine.
Yeah. Durex wagon.
It's a party
Steve's
wagon.
like, question mark? Yeah.
All right, I still have not fixed the click in this chair, and I might do that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like one of the casters.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that. I've got a click in mine, so I have to be careful, too. It's time to... I need to get a new chair, actually. I keep having to put cushions on this one because it's all broke down now. Not comfortable as it used to be, but I love it. It's hard to find this color of pink. Most of the pink chairs are pastel pink, and I like a more vivid, brighter pink.
Durability, comfort. You know what? That factors in my decision. But most importantly, how's it look? How's it look?
Yeah.
Can't
Well,
even
that was
see
why I
my
bought
chair.
this one, was how it's look. It's more comfortable definitely than my last one, because my last one was a classic gaming chair that it didn't fit me. Like most of them don't. This one at least was made for a lady, so it fits me better.
It was made,
But the cushion is not that
was
great.
it made for a lady or was it made for little people? Is it a kid's
Little
gaming
people. Actually, yeah. It's a kid's day gaming chair, yes.
chair? That's what I'm thinking about.
And
man.
that's the thing. Even the woman's gaming chairs are too tall for me. So
What do you want to bet they make like a Fisher Price gaming chair?
I probably do.
We're going to find out. Internet.
Hi, Don M. Hi, Katana.
A little disappointed. A little disappointed. I don't really consider those gaming chairs.
Aw. I could have Cherry from
They have Fisher Price
Pee Wee
gaming
Herman's
controllers.
Playhouse.
Oh yeah.
That would be comfortable to have Cherry from Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse.
This is the attachment we need on modern. Razor, make one. Put like a tray up there so you can put your sippy cup.
Yeah. Yes.
What? You could have like some dry Cheerios and some juice.
They do make chairs with the mug holders, the cup holders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just go all the way, man. Let's put the little clip-on tray so you can have your chicken nuggies and.
Fortunately, that was never a thing for me growing up. I never cared for them. I always knew they didn't taste right. I wanted the real thing. So.
And that's why I hunted the chickens in the yard, ate them raw.
Yeah,
It was just
it's
feathers.
kind of funny because that didn't really become a thing until after I was a kid. So,
What, hunting chickens in your yard and eating them?
no, chicken nuggies. That was a thing for
See, I like my
later
version
generation.
a lot better. I want to envision an alternate timeline where it became the popular thing to just annihilate poor chickens in your yard. Why would you have chickens? Some people collect chickens. Collection's not the right word. Really, it is. It really is with some of these people. They're like, I have chickens for what? I look at them.
Aw.
Okay.
Thank you, FX boy. Am I a filthy wizard? Venice, but I'm not.
I mean, if we want to get technical, I have a more frequent bathing schedule.
Yeah.
Racing in your garden. I'm a sorcerer. I don't know. All right, man. We got to get underway. So,
Okay.
you want to go grab
I will
something
be
to drink?
right back. Yeah.
All right.
Get some more water.
This is one of the cruelest things is if I'm ever in here long enough where I forget that I have on headphones. Maybe you've done this too. Maybe gaming. Usually it's when I'm mixing. I'm working on something with audio routing. And it just becomes part of my day. I'll be in here for like an hour, 2 hours. I'll get up, headphones on. Whew. That's no fun, is it? That is no fun. Especially if you have expensive headphones. I don't know. I haven't done that in a long time. And I cannot get behind wireless headphones. I'm always amazed by the fact that it does, Bluetooth headphones, which A2DP, HR, high res, I mean, it's fine. I don't mind the latency. But those effectively work out of the box on Linux, which I think is really neat these days. So you broke your old Sony? That's curious. Well, I guess it depends on what kind. One of the reasons multiple reasons, but if you want a good pair of forever headphones, MDR 7506s, can't beat them for the price, but most importantly, you can't break them. I mean, these things have probably been dropped, I'd say minimum 20 times in the hardwood floor from a distance of about 1 meter. Not a dent. That'll do it. Okay, there's no way around that. Now, one thing I do like, if you're familiar with AKG series of headphones, they use a mini XLR jack to clip in, which, if you got to get up and back and down a lot, that's real handy because you unplug it. I kind of wish, now tell me, this would be a good idea. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a crazy idea. What if you had a MagSafe light connector on your headphones? Would that be cool? I don't know. Like the one time you really needed it, having a MagSafe, just magnetic where it clips off, you just keep going. I think the first time that worked, it would pay for itself, wouldn't it? Especially if you have an audio interface on your desk and stuff stacked on top of your audio interface on your desk, and all that comes down and manages to take everything else down with it. Audio-Technica's got some really nice studio monitors, headphones, which are pretty decent. And I like these for mixing voice. Because if I wasn't just doing podcast stuff, I'd use studio monitors, but nah. AKG 450s. Yeah. AKG's got some decent stuff. I like AKGs because they're light. They're extremely light. If you are going to be doing 6-8 hours, I'd have AKGs. 7506s, these are heavy, but, it's just part of the game. But it is kind of strange, because, I'd say probably up until 10 years ago, I was somebody who never wore headphones. Gaming, using a computer, or anything like that, and I was just completely flipped. I don't have any speakers set up in this room. It's all headphones. All the audio equipment, headphones. That's it. Which is kind of strange. I thought about putting my studio monitors in here, but I don't want to mount them. I don't want to wire them up. Therefore, headphones. That is your solution. Now, one thing we're going to be talking about during the show, this is the first real test run. I did it last night. I ran the live stream through Reaper during our Trackmania. What we do on Tuesdays is we load up some maps and we vote on them, figure out which ones that we're going to race on Friday. And I was running Reaper through everything for the live stream. This is going to be the first real test of it with the 6X version of Reaper. That's what's sitting over here in this monitor. And see how it records. It's doing all the mix minusing and audio processing and sending it over to this box. So you're getting it live. Which took a minute if you tuned in right at the beginning of the stream. Because OBS was like, hey man, all that advanced audio property stuff that you've done, forget about it. It's not going to happen. Fortunately, it's not terribly that advanced. So it was pretty easy to get that set back up. what are my thoughts on... I think I can show you my thoughts on that with... one moment. Let me save that. That's my thoughts on, well, might be difficult to see. Build your own kernels. Like, in 2022, really? Like, the only time I would suggest anybody messing around with alternate kernels is, like, man, I don't even know what they claim to do on the tin. Like, they have a bunch of optimizations and stuff like that in them, but is that going to be worth your while running something that's not in the tree? The only thing I do for the audio box in here with the DAW server is, changing resolution timers. I compile it with a real-time patch, HPET, a couple other things, but, I've looked at, like Liquorix and Zenomod. They got a bunch of stuff thrown in, but I don't need any of that stuff. No, I don't. I don't do anything with the scheduler. All I do is just when I'm compiling the kernel, I set the schedule on performance. But on the DAW in the studio, I have frequency scaling disabled. So it's all 8 cores, 16 threads, locked at 3 gigahertz, 24/7. Because that's something you don't want frequency scaling on a device that's trying to do real-time anything. You want all the cores stable. Which is...
Oh, hi, Matthew. Hi, Strider.
Something you're going to run into with, like, laptops. Like, if you can get away doing all of your audio work, like, you can absolutely do all of your audio stuff post. I'm talking about doing it live. Because you cannot eliminate thermal throttling in a laptop. It's going to happen.
That's an issue.
Normally, it's not an issue with, like, just playing games and stuff like that. Kind of keep it. But, I mean, the frequency dips. It's going to happen. All right. I'm going to get up and Jill's going to tell you all about... I don't know. What are you going to tell him about, Jill?
Talk about being a filthy wizard.
All right.
Yeah. Aw. I was just noticing FX Boy's comments. Finn is a full-blown filthy wizard. You are are by association, Jill. Go, yeah, that is true. I am part of Linux Gamecast, and I have thrown chairs every now and then. And I do it every Wednesday with Linux News. We throw chairs. Safety dance, yes. Oh, that's such a great video. It's so different than what you would think it would be from the music. Do do do. The safety. How about the salty wizard? when you need him. Yeah, that is one of my all-time favorite songs, Safety Dance. 80s New Wave. That was one of my songs in high school. Aw, so what is everyone up to? Katana, are you on a lunch break or able to take a break from work to watch you're always in watching at this time, so. Yeah. Do do do. Men without hats. The only photo on the they're wearing hats. A muscle binary shell. It takes forever. Yeah, Arthurian and Katana. What are your some other favorite new wave hits? And Matthew too. I know he has some. Oh boy, I love Blue Monday. How does it feel to treat me like you do? I actually love the extended instrumental version. I have it on vinyl. What's a new wave hit? Oh boy. Cars. Depeche Mode. New wave bands. Let's see. Television. Yeah, there's a good one. Oh my gosh, I have some television on cassette tape. Freed Wave. Yeah, I like the Pet Shop Boys. Oh boy. New Order, Blue Monday. There are so many good songs from that time.
What time, Jill?
Oh, new wave. Talking about new wave music.
What was the years?
Echo and the Bunnywoman.
For new wave.
80s. I'd say. Actually, technically, maybe late 70s. But like 1980 to 1990. There were a lot of good hits that came out in the late 80s, too.
So what do we think of when we think about new wave? Are we thinking like Flock of Seagulls type stuff?
No.
Were they
like
too
Tears
good?
for Fears. 78, Steve Husband said. And Pound Shop Boys, you may find. Bebop Deluxe. Yeah, they're really great. Drastic Plastic. Synth pop, synth wave. It's what the kids today call synth wave.
Oh man. I guess.
There's a little black spot on the sun today. It's the same old thing as yesterday.
I mean, you know, like, hey, look on the bright side. Like during the entire synthwave thing, they were also making good music.
Yeah, well, it was different for the time. It definitely was a sign of, you know, my generation and the Cold War.
It's a sign of
everything.
society slowly crumbling.
No, it was a nice. They were doing a lot of experimental things with synths, bringing in. The 80s music was extraordinary in terms of experimentation. And that's why all the music today is very derivative of it. The 80s genres are what's popular today now because
Yeah, I think back to
aren't
like
creating new
popular 80
things.
bands like Metallica.
Yeah.
And Megadeth.
They're cool too.
Well, they
See,
were
that
80s
was another
bands.
genre of music. Yeah. But I was just specifically talking about new wave and the experimentation within the music industry. But there was a lot of synth metal and progressive metal. I like some of the progressive metal.
Synth metal. I'm sure it exists.
And of course, Kraftwerk's Computer World.
Devo was kind of interesting. Devo kind of jumped through
Devo's
genres.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, the 80s had some good stuff, but well, I mean, the 90s weren't that much better, though.
Well, the 90s were just copying what the 80s did. I mean, come on.
Well,
with the exception of, grunge. It was all derivative.
all music is derivative. I mean, generation before you would have said the same thing. That's kind of the thing.
Not when it comes to electronic and synth. That was a whole new field started in the 60s by the likes of Tangerine Dream and Kraftwerk.
Right. So
And,
the stuff in the 80s wasn't derivative of that?
Well, yeah, it was, but in the 80s
there we
they
go.
took it they took it even further. And it's the 90s were actually dull as far as music goes. Because they weren't experimenting. They were just copying what was done before. But that changed like in the late 90s. Then things started changing.
That is Jill's opinion, ladies and gentlemen. I know, Strider. I know.
Matthew, trance and techno were created in the 60s by Kraftwerk. You know that. Kraftwerk is the father of techno, and that's what I'm talking about, the early years of... But yeah, it became huge in the 90s, and I love some of that too. That all came from a lot of those 1960s musicians
Well, you
experimenting.
could say it was all derivative, but I mean, when you think about techno, yeah, I mean, you can see influences and stuff like that, but something could be called techno, like that term, like trance, hard trance, and stuff like that, didn't appear until the late
they're all
90s.
subgenre. Yeah, they're all subgenres. There's Gaia. There's trip hop. But what's known as EDM, has been around since the 60s. Do.
It's Music History Wednesday. It's a good chance to look up
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, it is, FX Boy.
Let's see, when did EDM achieve cultural mainstream? Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. It was in the 80s. People started calling it EDM.
Beat boop music. Yeah. See, we're getting like that. I mean, I don't put any of it down. Like, I can jam out to anything, but, like, yeah. Like, techno, trance. Then we got WAB. When did WAB come in? Mid-2000s? Drop that.
And there's noise, which I love. And there's, chip tunes, which is another one I love. Another genre I love.
Lady Gaga can actually sing.
Yeah, she's actually really good.
Not like a fan of Lady Gaga, but I can tell you, like, before she started doing all the like marketing thing with the looks and stuff like that, go back and like listen to like recitals. Like, you can sing. All right, well done.
And yes, true that, Matthew. I was being taken literally. Kraftwerk, yes, they are considered the fathers of techno, and they influence them, but that those musicians have taken it to a different direction. True. But I was just talking about that it was it comes from a source that was done
You're doing
previously.
what we all do, Jill. We're like, no, the stuff that I started with is the real stuff. You kids with your derivatives.
No, I wasn't going that direction at all. I was just saying in terms of electronic music, because I've been part of it since I was a kid. So
Chill out, Jill.
I did a radio show for 16 years, Ven.
That's nice.
Yeah, and it was one of the few here in the United States, and the likes of Edgar Froese from Tangerine Dream and some of the members of Pink Floyd, including Klaus Schultz, used to listen to my show.
Cool. What? No.
Oh, wet.
I don't know. Like, I have nothing against, like, dance and electronica music. It's become a lot easier to produce. See, yeah, now you guys are talking about stuff I'm unfamiliar with. I have nothing against Crash Test Dummies. I don't really have anything against Collective Soul.
Yeah.
They were a victim of their own success. All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we going to do more music?
No, we're done with the music. Sorry about that. It was just fun.
I want
started
everybody
with
to
New
get it out of their
Wave.
system. Actual lyrics. I don't know. Oh, that one song? Talk about trying something different, man. All right. Yeah, we're going to kick it on. I think everything's set up. So let me, before I cut the music off,
Hi, Justin. Yay, Matthew. So yeah, Matthew loves. I prefer more the ambient and quieter electronic music as opposed to dance, but I do like some of the dance stuff too.
where is it? There. No, it's there. It is. Nah. I mean, I can appreciate a lot of dance music. I mean, it's great for, like, musicians that can't play instruments.
Mm-hmm. Got those built-in loops and default settings.
And I'll have you know, I watched Deadmau5 play Elden Ring, so that counts.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Deadmau5 is great. I love his studio. It's amazing.
All right. That is loaded. Cool. Let's see if this thing blows up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we can sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, anything else we find interesting. I'm Vin, and that is one Jill Bryant together with you, watching us live on Twitch. I hope you're watching us live on Twitch. If you're not listening to us after the fact, it is brilliant. Another fantastic Wednesday. Maybe for some Linux,
Yay!
some other things that are going on, but I'm kind of dancing around on pins right now. I got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of new things in my market that I'm playing with. One being Reaper. That's right. We're coming not through Harrison Mixbuzz,
Wow.
not through On Door. No, this skittled colored digital audio workstation
Definitely Skittles.
is what I have up and running. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to talk a bit more about that, but I kind of have like a weird thing going on. It's like this is going from one DAW to another. Because, you got to understand how a digital audio workstation works. Just the basic concept. You put music in, you got some plugins, and music comes out, or in our case, speech. Walking into Reaper, I haven't played with Reaper in about 2 years. I have to imagine this is very similar to somebody who is very familiar with Windows installing Linux for the first time. You're like, it's an operating system. I know operating systems. I got this. I operating system all the time, practically. And you get over to Linux and like, none of this works like I expect it to. Why do I have to look up this thing's dumb. I don't like it. That's how I would have been with Reaper or anyone moving from one DAW to the other. Because even though they do the same things and the underpinnings, man, I've had to go back and get a lot of education. How does this work like this? How does this work like that? And why is this not working? What's different and what's that? But hey, I'm there. We're here. And outside of OBS being a little bit crazy, the beginning of the show, I think it's going to go pretty smooth, Jill. But you don't care about any of that. Mm-hmm. You're just focused on Disney World.
Yes, Disneyland specifically. Yeah. So me and Steve Husband are going to go to Disneyland tomorrow because it's his birthday and it's our 25th anniversary this weekend. So we are going to go celebrate at Disneyland tomorrow.
What are you going to do for celebrations?
Favorite places to go in the world. Have a nice dinner, go on some fun rides, watch the fireworks, do the usual thing we do at Disneyland, but this time with lots of celebration.
Lots of celebration.
I'll make sure to go over to Town Hall and get Steve Husband his birthday button so he can wear it at Disneyland, and everyone will wish him a happy birthday and embarrass him.
Well, they have what's a birthday button?
That you actually can go. There's on Main Street. There's a town hall where you can go and pick up buttons for birthdays, anniversaries. That Disney provides them to give to you, and you can wear them around the park, and then you get recognized.
Steve, you strike me as the type of person who craves attention. So, 2 buttons for you, my man. 2 buttons for you.
Aw. He just wants to go have a wonderful Monte Cristo sandwich at New Orleans Cafe and their wonderful mint juleps. That's what he's really looking forward to tomorrow.
Straight up alcohol. All right, Steve, that's the spirit, my man. That's the spirit. All right, let's get into a couple of things this week. And something that we've all played around with between me and Jill is the Whack'em Smack'ems, the tablets.
Yeah.
They wrote an article like, hey, by the way, we like Linux.
Nice. Yes, absolutely. So Wacom pen and tablet devices, have excellent Linux support and are enjoying broad adoption by artists and designers using our beloved Linux platform, and they will continue to update and maintain their drivers. They love the Linux community, and their devices sell real well in the Linux community.
Surprisingly, they do. Yeah. They do, even today, because we're looking at the website right now from the community.wacom.com. All this is going to be in our show notes. We're looking at a person who's drawing on a large Wacom tablet, and I looked that up. I'm like, how much does the Cintiq Pro 32-inch cost? A little over $3,000.
Yeah, there's several $1,000s, yes. But a lot of the studios are using them, and not just the creative industry and Linux enterprise environments, but the finance industry, banking, medical, and the public sectors are, adopting Linux solutions with pen-based workflows. So they are doing really well in sales, but as a result, they're contributing greatly and wonderfully to open source and making drivers that work well with their devices. And, thanks to Wacom's partnership with Red Hat, they've been able to see Wacom device support and adoption across many Linux distributions. And the distros they officially support are CentOS 8 Stream, Fedora Workstation 35, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8.5, and Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. And, of course, their devices work in most of the Linux distros, but those are the ones that they officially support. And they recommend actually using the GNOME 3 desktop because the GNOME desktop is great for pens and tablets. It really is. Really good at that.
I don't know. I'd sit back and be like, I'm looking at what they support is probably whatever a distribution manufacturer ships as the default desktop. I'm looking at you, Red Hat. GNOME 3. No. I got to think back, man, because you remember when touchscreens back in the day, they were very novel little devices. Sometimes you would even see like
absolutely.
a CRT touchscreen, like, ooh, this is neat. This was moon technology. This was the future. Everything's going to be, movies, television, everything promised these touchscreens. They were rare. And they were also wicked expensive if you could find them. And, Wacom, the Wacom tablets are not cheap, but they're the kind of the industry standard at this point for the people who absolutely need them because, these days you can get reasonably good touchscreens on like Microsoft Surface. I get a Samsung S6, which has got, even the reviews are like, oh no, this is really good with pressure sensitivity and tablet. I take that back. I took the stylus out and went, like that one time, clipped it back on, never used it since. But back in 2016, Wacom's been at this for a long time, I should say, just like right out of the gate. They've been doing kernel driver contributing to the kernel since like 2002. But back in 2016, they set it up, the kernel driver, so they can just like readily support any new products without patches or anything like that. So that's the type of commitment that you like to see from a company. And they made a really good point. Fantastic point about deployments because, if you're setting up, 60, 70, 100 plus workstations, that Windows license is going to add up quick.
Yes. Absolutely. So, now more companies want to deploy the open source and free operating system and save money.
It makes sense. And they even pointed out in the article, like, hey, you can tune Linux like really good for, single use cases, multi-use cases too. But if you have a task, if you basically need to create a butter robot of a device, a PC that is specialized for one thing, Linux is the go-to thing, and you're never going to have to worry about like your updates are ready to install. I'm going to tell you more about Windows 10 at the end of the show. Stay tuned. I'll tell you. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Wacom, Ven, do you remember using their SCSI devices? I still have several Wacom pen touchpads from the 80s that still work well. And they're supported on Linux.
100% that I've ever walked by is all the Wacom stuff. I was made aware. It's like, that thing's expensive. Don't touch it. Understood. That's pretty much my relationship.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is today they have tablets for, for any budget, including for students. Like my students use the ones that are under $100, $60 to $70. You can start with a Wacom Bamboo tablet. So they do have ones that are, a price range for people who can't afford, one of the real big expensive ones. So at least there's that.
Well, it's still fantastic. I mean, they do have budget cost reduced. They're not necessarily, they don't have screens per se. They're just surfaces to draw on.
Just the surfaces to draw on. Yeah.
And that's a game changer.
Touchpads.
And I say that as a Jackbox professional. Somebody trying to draw in like Drawful or the TKO games that we play sometimes in the after show on Saturday. The laughable creations. Now, it's part of the charm is trying to draw with my right hand using a trackball. And it never works out well, but it's usually comical.
Yes, absolutely.
So, Mastodon. Everyone's talking about, hey, Twitter. Twitter might get an edit button. It could be for real. And that's cool. That's all right.
Woohoo!
We talked about in the pre-show, if you're Patreon, go back and listen to some of my thoughts on that. But Mastodon 3.5 is out, and it's going to go ahead and give you that for the low, low price of free. Now, you're going to have to wait until the Mastodon servers are all upgraded to 3.5 before it's going to be showing up in your web app. Now, again, what am I talking about? The ability to edit posts. Now, don't worry, though. I was a little taken aback. I'm like, I don't know if I necessarily like that if you're thinking about it in the same way I am. But the original and previous versions of the post, they're going to be saved. They're going to remain accessible throughout your history view. So you're going to have a record. And that's what I was kind of worried about. I'm glad to see that is there. Also, here's a free bonus soda. Media attachments no longer dependent on the order they were uploaded. Nice.
Yeah.
I like to see
that's
that.
the thing. Yeah.
There's a new explore page for popular posts. And if you want to put some numbers to it, 887 commits, 23 contribs between June 3rd and March 30th. Good work, team.
Yeah, they did a great job with that. And what's also cool is that people who have previously shared the post get notified about any of the edits and changes, which is really forward thinking. I'm hoping Twitter's will be that good, but it may not be. Twitter editing features.
No, we got to shill mass.linuxgamecast.com where you too can.
Absolutely.
We have how many? Wow, we have 125 people on there. 31 of them are active. Nice.
Yeah.
You can even retweet Jill's post now.
Yeah. Yes. I got my security issues taken care of. For a while, I guess you couldn't retweet my toots. So I am sorry about that. Some people were able to, some people weren't, but I got that all fixed.
I'm glad that's sorted out. Yeah, that's an interesting way to go about adding the edit feature, because people will abuse the edit thing. And personally, like way back in the day, it might have been like the early days of Facebook when it was the Facebook, or it might have been even back in like MySpace, somewhere around there. I used it for comedic effect with like having a fun argument with somebody, like legitimately good-natured one, not like, aha, we were just having fun. Having that type of argument, going back and just changing things so it was completely nonsensical, like humor. But having that ability to do it with a tweet or a toot, which is good, because we were talking about it in the pre-show, like, maybe a typo, or I forgot the link, or it was the wrong link, or,
Yeah.
A list of things can change, but as opposed to like going back and doing your own revisionist history, like, I never said that. See, but having a record, nice touch, Mastodon.
Yes,
like that, so
absolutely.
People can look back and be like, that's not what you said. That's not right here what you said. Also, here's a pro tip: if you ever say anything dumb online, leave it. You'll learn from it instead of constantly repeating the same mistake over and over and over. There you go. What do we have up next? Oh, Thunder Chickens.
Thunderbird. Woohoo! So the upcoming Thunderbird 1.02 will be a major upgrade with many new features and a much more modern UI, and is actually targeted for release on June 28th of this year. And there's so many cool features that are coming that honestly we've been really needing to modernize this mail client. There's a new Spaces toolbar, which helps you keep a variety of activities separate in the form of icons in the left sidebar, which is a nice, quick, easy access. And there's a new, more modern look of the address book, which should help you easily find your contacts and interact with them. And there's initial out-of-the-box support for Matrix, the decentralized chat protocol. That's I'm on Matrix a lot.
What's Matrix?
So I'm looking forward a decentralized chat protocol. It's like the open source and decentralized version of Discord. That's what Matrix is like. So I'm looking forward to that. It could be Thunderbird could be a great Matrix or Element client. And one of my actual favorite excuse me for saying favorite. Yes. So one of the new features I really love is a new link preview card For when you add a link in the email composer, you can choose to convert it into rich link preview. So you see a little preview of the website or a YouTube video. And that's a really nice feature that other modern email clients have. So it's really nice with what Thunderbird, what they're doing is just making it more modern and bringing in those features that we're used to with our other email clients. So that's really nice. And, I've actually been using Thunderbird since the early years of Firefox when it was included as part of the Firefox suite. And I think Ven has been too for a very long
communicator,
time.
baby.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the thing, man. Remember the big 4.0?
Oh, gosh. Yes.
Everything was going to change. That was a fight, too. It was IE4, Netscape 4, and we had the community.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that was a native WYSIWYG HTML editor on Linux that came in that Netscape communicator package. I don't even remember what it was called. It was like Pages or whatever it was called.
Pages. Yeah. Oh, and that works. Actually, that is still being updated with SeaMonkey, the SeaMonkey web browser suite. And that works really well, actually, to do web pages.
It was around that time somebody had the bright idea to invent CSS, and I'm like, nope, I'm out of this business.
Yeah.
That's my move.
Yeah.
Now,
there's a lot more new features coming to Thunderbird 1.102. So make sure to check our show notes. And thank you to Arthur and chat for bringing this to our attention.
A couple of things with Thunderbird. I no longer use Thunderbird because it was the one application on this box that took too long to launch. First world problem, I know. But when you're sitting with a Threadripper and NVMe drive and just a tweaked out system, you click on something, you get time to go, did I misclick? Oh, then it would pop up. What did I go to? I went over to Evolution. I didn't go over to anything fun. But I always peek back in and see if they got that startup time.
It sounds like that they're going to really focus also on speed and as well and performance. So that'll be very cool. Maybe. The faster, the better.
And in Thunderbird and Evolution's defense, I have worst case. I have the 13 email accounts that are organized by folders. That
is a thing.
So keep it.
Yeah, I have a couple email accounts on Thunderbird, including my Linux Gamecast account.
I've always used it. That has been one of the first things, Thunderbird standalone. It was Thunderbird, Firefox, Thunderbird, up until maybe 2 years ago. Just get too slow for me. But I always peek back at, and another thing. Okay, maybe they fixed this. I'm going to go look after the show with, because high DPI scaling, it's 2022. I can tell you in 2021, you would open that on UHD monitor and it just couldn't. How do you fix it? Well, you effectively have to go into the about config and disable the thing and manually type in it. Like you don't need to be doing that in 2021, much less 20. Hopefully that's fixed. Maybe it is. But, I remember what it was. See, it's coming back to me now. I'm not pooing on anybody working on Thunderbird. I'm just real user experience because I got the high DPI thing working, or they might have added something, but it made all the icons and stuff on the left side, they were too big for... I
remember that, yeah.
And it was enough of a problem to where there was a plugin in the Thunderbird store to fix that after you get that one fixed. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Okay, let's just get something that works. So there we are. All right. Something I do is, for the video watchers, listening to the audio, maybe you want to go look in the video. There are two things over here. Now you can see the little circle. That's my jog wheel. That's one of the devices I use to control the DAW, Digital Audio Workstation, this thing that's blanket over here. And to the right of it, there's another unit with some motorized faders and some push buttons and some encoders. I got to have both of these up and running to do the show live because I got to be able to track stuff with Mackie. I got to be able to scrub through, start, stop, transport, and all that. But I need the other one to adjust the fader so I can tap mute buttons, adjust levels. And this is one of the reasons I've used traditionally Adore and Harrison Mixbus because, you have Adore. Mixbus is Adore with a skeuomorphic body kit on it. But one thing Outdoor gets just so well is MIDI learn. And that's where I can take, a controller, and it could be a keyboard. I could do it with, any type of MIDI device and say, hey, this button on the screen, when I press that, okay, I want to press this button on this controller, and it's going to press that button. Or if I move this slider up, it's going to move this down with a fader. However you want to do, and you can do inside like plug-in controls and all that. Reaper's always had a problem with that. Now, it's good with Mackie mode. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds. You got two modes. Well, you got a bunch of modes. Two modes that I use, Mackie mode and MIDI CC. Mackie mode is kind of a predefined map for the controller. So you plug a controller in, it's got a bunch of buttons, jog wheels, and all that. You say, this is a Mackie device, and that's it. But you can't change anything of the predefined everything in there. You can't move it around. You can't shuffle. It's like, I want this button to do this, or I want this fader to move this. That's not how that works. That's where MIDI CC comes in. MIDI CC is just a blank slate. You can just get all your coders, your buttons, your faders, and teach it. Reaper was good with the Mackie stuff. The teaching it with the MIDI CC stuff, it wasn't so great with, especially with motorized faders. It didn't know what to do with it. Finally came across something that I want to tell everyone about called Relearn. What is Relearn? Man, it solved all my problems. That's exactly what, and this is Relearn squared, I guess it is. It's a VST plugin, instrument plugin for your DAW, and it works with Reaper only. I like how they say that. I'm like, okay, just in case, don't try to use this with something else. I guess somebody did. Controller presets, conditional activations, projections, anything you can throw at it. And it is wicked simple to set up, easy to use. That might look like moon glyphs to you, but if you've ever dealt with MIDI, you're like, oh, I get this. I understand what's going on there. And it's available through Repack, which, here's something my Linux brothers and sisters will appreciate. Reaper, the DAW itself, effectively has its own app repository built into the DAW.
So nice.
You can search things like, and you can add new repos, like your app, sources.list. You're like, hey, this person's got a repo. Oh, I'll put that in there. Let's scan that. Hey, now I have this other new stuff. Yeah. Very happy to see that. And it works very well. I haven't had a problem with it. It's simple enough to where I could figure it out, how to switch things from toggle on, off, and just a cool piece of software, Jill. I was happy to play with it, and I'm using it.
Oh, it's nice.
It's free. So, yeah, go play with it if you are looking for something a bit more advanced than you're out of the box. And I know I'm talking like maybe 3 people. Control surfaces are pretty much reduced to like pro mixing or like live content production. So there you go. You got options. Jill, tell me how to install Windows 10. What's the best way to do it?
Oh boy. On a from a USB flash drive.
Incorrect. Yeah. Incorrect. It is 3.5 floppy disk. All 100.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
25.
How many? How many floppy disks for Windows 10? I know Windows 95 was over 100 because we did it as a project lab because we'd run out of stuff to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Secondary school.
Yeah.
What's your guess? All right, everyone at home, no cheating. What's your guess? How many floppies for Windows 10? I want. Look at the camera.
Oh my gosh!
Look at the camera, Jill.
Okay.
I don't want anybody cheating. I don't want anybody looking at chat. I'm going to say just under 300.
Okay. Yeah. I remember seeing all the floppies. I don't have the floppies for Windows 10, but I do have the floppies from Windows 7.
How many floppies? Let's see if we can even find this.
Let me guess. Okay, on a CD. Let's see, a DVD 4. The Microsoft DVDs are bigger than the standard DVD. They compress their data on them. So let's say, nah. I say some of it probably not everything's on the floppies that you have to use the internet after you install the floppies. So 600?
600?
Yeah.
I think we might be off by a factor of 2,000.
Okay. So it is actually the full DVD. Okay.
Disc 1 of 2,639. That looks like a legit photo, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I think 7 was 500, I believe. I have a set of them somewhere. And I have my Windows 3.1 ones.
That was good. That was nothing when you think about it nowadays,
Yeah,
right?
those were only about 6. Yeah, for work groups.
I remember doing that. It was in like secondary school. It was over 100 because they had sent it to the school. It was just like a backup or whatever. The rest of it was on a compact disc, but we did it and it took an afternoon and all the disc read. I bet all those discs probably still read today, man.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it was boring. We would sit and talk for an hour and like we were just playing human caddy.
Yeah, just playing.
That's all we did. All right. Right. Why are we talking about Windows 10? Let me bring this up.
Yes.
I had to install Windows 10. I needed a copy of Windows 10, and I have one Windows 10 device. Yes, it is Windows 10. It is a tablet. It is a quad-core Intel Bay Trail, like 8-inch tablet. It is a miserable, evil little device that barely worked. And it's got a full-size USB port on it, though. Used to use this thing for updating our iTunes, and that was the only way. There's no way back in the day to edit your iTunes for the podcast outside of Windows. So it had just lived in a box. I'm like, I have a use for this thing, and I dug it up, and it doesn't even cut on anymore. I'm like, oh no, I don't care. But that still left me with an issue because I had a piece of hardware that I had to test. I just assumed, 100%. I was like, hey, it doesn't work with Linux, but before sending it back, I wanted to make sure it wasn't like some weird Linux quirk. But, I was looking at dmessage. It wasn't able to get a setup address, much less accept one. I'm like, this is something wrong with the USB controller on this thing, more than likely. But I wanted to, cross my T's, dot my lowercase J's on this. And spent an evening, did some Googling, because this is not something I've ever done. How do you make a Windows 10? I assumed, I had to start here. I'm like, I assume you can make a thumb drive with Windows 10 on it to install it.
Yeah, Microsoft does provide one on their website. I have used that.
And I want to do it from Linux, and I found some guides, and I went through them, and it wasn't working. Couldn't someone, I was like, well, I don't know, man. It's like, there's something wrong. Finally, I got to this. This is the whole point of this story.
Woohoo!
Whoa USB-NG, a simple tool to enable you to create your own USB stick installer from an ISO image or real DVD, not fake DVDs. It's a rewrite of the original Whoa USB. This, ladies and gentlemen, was the one application. I also confirmed this with Pedro Saturday because I brought it up and because Pedro went through the entire journey as well. I'm trying to save everyone else at home if you're ever in this horrible situation. This is the one piece of Linux software that will make a bootable Windows installer from the DVD image. That's all there is to it. It's even got a GUI if you want to rock and roll with that. Source code, it's completely open source. Now, it's still got a little nasty bug. When it's doing the grub install on the thumb drive, this is a known bug since 2019. It's still open on the GitHub page. It can take anywhere from 2 minutes, maybe an hour for it to finish that, depending.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So not something I would recommend being in a hurry to do. And that's exactly what I did because it froze. One would assume, right? It's sitting on that. It's like installing grub. It's been like 10 minutes. What's going on? I can go to Google and go to the GitHub search and is it? There's an entire thread on this from 2019 that's still up to date, still hasn't been closed. And the solution is just wait it out. That's what I did. I wouldn't get a shower. Came back, it was done, but it didn't. Moral of the story, I have a hard drive not connected inside of Jill's computer right now with a functioning copy, air quotes, functioning copy of Windows 10.
Ah, nice. Oh,
which it was fun,
that's awesome,
Jill.
Ben.
Because do you know how Windows 10 recognized the fiber optics, the fiber card?
Oh,
inside this box?
Tell me that story.
It's short. It didn't.
It didn't. Okay. I figured.
The end. And they all lived happily ever after.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to go into the BIOS and enable the copper thing, go get some cable and run.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Man.
Yeah.
That's what I promised you. Then I went to shut it down. Do you know what Windows does when you go to shut it down? It's like, It's just like, wait. I'm like, wait for what? 40 plus minutes. Then I'll let you shut down. Why? Shrug emoji. How do you people deal with this? And plus, I don't know how to navigate anything on Windows 10. I think you were listening Saturday. I was asking Pedro, since he works with Windows, like, how do you find applications in Windows 10? He was like, well, you just type the name. What if you don't know the name of them?
Yeah. Just like people complain about using applications on Linux. It's like, okay. Yeah.
In my attempt to empathize with my brothers and sisters, if that's how you feel about Linux, I get it then. Okay, because it's like I have no intention to learn any of this. Bye. But I'm not going to blame Windows 10 for it. It gets enough hate because there's Windows 11. You can hate on that now. Hey, if you would like to help us out and you like what we do this every Wednesday and we do a bunch of stuff. We stream on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, all the days except for Mondays, I think. And that's it. Wait, Sundays. Aha, I knew there were 2 days. We got some bonus stuff. People can help us out. Patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. Or if you just want to share the show, that'd be brilliant. I very much appreciate it. But if you come Patreon, we got some extra things like the live and uncut series of this show. We hear us talking about the pre-show. There's also a post-show. You get a nice little MP3 customized RSS feed, or if you just want to download that, plus the video version of the live and uncut, which is kind of nice to have. And we got some bonus things, access to our Discord. That's where we hang out. We're just in there constantly. I mean,
every day of the week. Yeah.
That's our group Slack. It's Slack with 100 of our closest friends that are just in there.
Yeah.
We're talking back and forth. Couple of channels. That's how we do the audio and stuff for the Trackmania things and the after shows and on Saturday where we get together and play some games. One other's not. You get your name in the credits. You can buy a shirt. That's the thing. Somebody bought a shirt last week.
Yeah, you
Jill.
can. Oh, good. Which one?
It was the face shirt. The me, Jordan, and
okay.
Yeah, like the one
LGC boys.
Yeah, the one I wouldn't wear. I'm like, I couldn't wear a shirt with my face on it. So I want to thank everyone who's helped us out. It's kind of brilliant. And we just get to it lets us do the show that you want to do. We don't ever have to worry about anything. It's like, you want to talk about this? Yeah. All right. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Well, we have several people who increased their pledges on Patreon. One is David, and then we have Zeno, who increased his pledge as well. And we have a new patron named Anjun. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting Linux Gamecast and all that we do. We do work hard 5 days a week.
Anjun. Oh, well, I'll have you know, Jill, that's pronounced Samuel. It's not. I just made that up, Jill. Don't put any thought into it.
Oh, okay. I've heard the name Anjun before, so.
We were talking about that
but
at the beginning of the show. That's one of my, here's a simple streamer trick that I've picked up over the last decade is, some people still get like their hacker elite names. We're all guilty of it. Don't for 1 second be like, I would, yeah, you did. You did at some point. And some people still like the hacker elite names with elite speaks and stuff. And they all have different pronunciations. And it's like, hey, here's what I do. I was like, you're just read it out as it is numerically. 1, 3, 4, H, 8, T, R, what? All right. So, and just call them by that 2 or 3 times. Then you'll get a broken down explanation of what you're supposed to, now I see what it's supposed to be. Life hacks. All right, we got a slice of pie.
Woohoo! Oh boy, that looks like a cake, not a pie. It looks like a cake with.
It's the same thing.
It's supposed to be a keyboard. It's supposed to be ZX Spectrum, a Specky. Yes,
it's a delicious.
That's a Specky cake.
ZX Spec. So tasty. And listen, I personally, you should never say anything because that thing looks like it survived the plague. So
yeah, it does. This one wasn't very artistically done. They got the right colors and everything, and it's just just isn't right. It's a little deformed. So I didn't know what it was at first.
Better than I could do. That's always my first thought before I'd knock on anybody's baking, man. I'm like, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Reason we're talking about Speckies, the ZX, is somebody has decided to shove it inside of a Raspberry Pi. I know you're thinking to yourself, man, did I really need to know that? I think you needed to know that. Jill thinks you needed to know that. And Arthur in chat right now, one of our beautiful party patrons dropped that in a show suggestions in our Discord. Look at all these plugs. And here it is. Unfortunately, it does not transform into a dinosaur. So I'm a little sad. But you know what? You're looking at the tape right there. It's nice and shiny on the front. That's not for show. That's a legitimate heat sink. Dude had to put on it to keep it from melting so we could get it to boot in a little over 16 seconds. But yeah, this comes from magpie.raspberrypi.com. They do things like this all the time. And this is effectively shoving a Pi Zero W into a cassette case, which is kind of neat. That's kind of beautiful. Fun. 16 seconds later, it boots Fuse. That's running it, which is the Specky emulator. After what we were just talking about, attaching that chunky heatsink, which looks the part. And I love this because this keeps in the proud tradition of haphazard tinkerers with just a little bit of electronics experience, making fun things. And, the electronic to Durkin is tradition. I'm like, how can I shove a thing into that?
Absolutely.
If you're looking at like old TVs but look, it's got a nice little composite video out and mini USB. There it is. Look at the little Pi Zero W hanging out inside a cassette tape that, again, I must point out, does not transform into a dinosaur. No.
That would work nicely for my Timex Sinclair. Which is the U.S. cousin of the Specky. And what was cool is the developer said that, his next challenge is going to be a 1980s boombox with drop-in cassettes that boot up and play games from different iconic home computers. I think that just was so cool.
But will it turn into a dinosaur?
Yeah. No, it probably won't transform either. The boombox actually... There is a possibility that the boombox, he could do that with his boombox.
We could call him Soundwave. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of ways to sound, we got to bounce out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll be back next week. But until then, enjoy some beautiful symphonic music while we roll some credits.
Yeah. Yay. We love all our patrons. We have so many of them in chat right now. We have Artherin, Inertia, Steve Husband, Justin.
I want to thank all our executive producers, Drummer, Kako, Pebble, Chicago, Darkwing, Abstraction, Rocket in with that. Who else? We got Sea Monsters from Null, Veritanuda, Justin, Frosty, Strider, Hakeem, and David, Death Notes, Dodger, Cheesy Bacon, Jory, Benjamin, Doom 2. Wad. I'm doing best I can.
Too
Linux
much.
New. Ajad, -9, Phil, Yannick. Episode 321. See, I can read that. It's nice and slow.
Yeah. We got Katana Steel. We've got Mr. Alert, Cinemetro.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Love you all. I loved your picture of the ZX Spectrum cake. That was cool.
I mean,
That surprised me with that. I hadn't seen it.
It looked delicious.
Yeah, it did. It does actually. Yeah. He just didn't get all the keys straight, or she.
It looks like a cake made by a nerd. Didn't know how to bake. That'd be me. If I made one, it would look very similar. Because I don't know how to bake. I can follow instructions. It'll be an approximation of what I'm going for. But.
Well, I don't know how to bake either, but I do know how to decorate, and I could have made all the cake pieces aligned correctly, and so I could have someone bake it for me, and then I can decorate it. Make it look like a really nice ZX Spectrum.
You see that's the thing right there, and that ugly-looking cake probably is the better tasting one because you can tell somebody put some effort into it. That you got to look at things the right way. You see something like that, your first thought is like, "Oh man, somebody didn't try. Somebody really, really tried. Like work was put into that." So you know what they say: don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely don't want to judge that one by its cover.
It's probably one of the most like delicious like ham cakes you ever had.
Yeah, Matthew, he makes good cakes.
What are the keys made out of? Probably sadness. I don't know. I've watched people do like chocolate sculpting and stuff like that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Like, it's pretty decent. Yeah, baking's chemistry, man. I mean, it's pretty dope. Like, I'm not against baking at all. I'm always fascinated with it. This is not my jam. There's not many things that I would bake that I would eat on top of everything else.
Yeah.
So, I got that going.
I mean, I have baked cakes before. It's just been a very long time. Usually I just go buy a nice cupcake at one of the local stores if I want cake. Or I go to Disneyland and have a nice cake there.
Oh, man.
I love cupcakes because they're like mini cakes. And that way I don't eat too much.
I limit myself to only 6. That's a lot of cupcakes, so. That depends on the cupcakes, too, man. Like, cupcakes vary.
Yeah, there's huge ones.
Right?
Yeah, there can be. Yeah.
I was hanging out with my friend Kate a couple of years back. We were at, not the Grit. Was it the Grit? Might have been the Grit. And she's like, "Come get a piece of cake." I'm like, "I don't care. Whatever. You know, I'm not buying your food, man." She's like, "All right." She's like, "Yeah, I'm getting a $5 slice of cake." And I had that $5 milkshake moment in real life in Pulp Fiction. I got to see what a $5 slice of cake looks like. And fair enough. I mean, it was like a wedge of cake. I still wouldn't. Some brookies?
Brownie cookies.
Isn't that like, wait, so that's just like brownies for people that are bad at right angles? It looked like everything was finished up.
Yay! That was fun, Ben. We were all over the place.
Get it now, please. Brownies on one layer chocolate chip. Yeah.
Ends up looking frightening. Yeah. Yeah, I am not actually a bad cook or a bad... I like baking more, but it's just not my favorite thing to do, but I'm not bad at it when I do it. I used to really enjoy baking, especially baking with my grandmother. We used to make casseroles all the time, and I love cheese casseroles and tuna casseroles. And I loved baking because I love being with my grandmother and doing the process with her. But left to my own devices, I don't like baking alone, I guess. I guess that's just
pretty good, Jill. I mean, plus, Steve doesn't have to worry about the house.
Yeah, there's that. Yes. I mean, I don't mind, like, we bake, pizzas in our little toaster, but
I finally found a use for my toaster oven. I was watching. I don't know why I ever thought of it. I never did. You can use it to. It's our guy on Twitch. Solder reflow station.
Oh yeah.
Now, I would strongly suggest not using it ever for food products after using that, but yeah, I put it down in the garage. I'm like, all right, that works. Neat.
Oh yeah, Matthew. Yeah, I don't like hot curry. I don't mind it a little nippy, but I don't like it hot.
What about Tim curry?
I like Asian curry well, a lot of the Asian curry can be mild or it can be very hot, but but I have had some curry I really do like. I used to dislike it tremendously. I just didn't like curry, but I realized, well, that was because every time I had it, it was always the hot kind, which I don't like hot food. So once I was exposed to all the different variations of curry from Indian food and Asian food, then I learned, oh, I like mild curry, or I like curry with a little nip in it. I like it zesty, not hot.
Slightly above room temperature. Kind of like spicy ketchup.
Yeah. Or spicy mustard.
I have legitimately ran into a person who thought ketchup was a little too spicy.
Oh, how funny.
Zingy. Which is...
Well, it does have a lot of tomatoes, and I guess, depending on the brand, all the brand, they're very different.
Yeah, I know, but your standard, like, run-of-the-mill ketchup is mostly sugar.
Yeah, it is. But there's a big difference between Hunt's and... I'm spacing on the names. There's two major brands, and they're very different from each other. Heinz, and then the Hunt's. Hunt's is generally more sweeter. At least the default ones. Wow, Matthew.
See, I don't like messing around with the curry paste anymore. What I do is I buy the curry blocks. They look like a Hershey's bar from hell. Break it off and just drop it in.
Yeah.
Then your house smells like that for the next 3 to 5 days, depending.
Yeah. That's stinky stuff you're cooking. Yeah, Steve's husband. I'm tech support, and he does other things. That's good, Justin.
Alan, what is Japanese style curry? What's considered
Japanese style
curry?
Yeah, what is different about the Japanese style? Does it have more? It's got more something in it. More ginger? No.
I don't like ginger.
Maybe. More ginger. I don't care for ginger either, but I don't mind it in small doses mixed with things.
It's a
but yeah, I do like
piece
Japanese. Yeah. Actually, I've had ginger that was so hot it burned my mouth. Oh my God.
Yeah, but you in my mind, you're the spicy ketchup person too.
Yeah.
I mean, the only kind of ketchup I like is I like mushroom ketchup. And like's a strong word. I don't like tomato ketchup at all. I like tomatoes. I just don't like
the ketchup because they put a lot of sugar in it. Yeah.
Right, the liquid candy that is.
Yeah. No, I prefer just plain tomatoes as well. The only time I have ketchup is occasionally with fries, but I don't even always want it every time either. Sometimes I just like them plain.
I'm vinegar on my fries.
Oh, yeah. I like feta fries. Cheese on fries. I think that's my favorite kind of fry. Or chili fries. Ooh, chili fries. Yummy. Chili fries are good.
So apparently Japanese curry is thicker, sweeter, and less spicy than Indian curry.
That makes sense because that's why I've liked it. So it does have ginger, but it's very sweet. Inertia, yeah. Ah, that makes sense.
Pork or
Yeah,
beef?
pork or beef.
As opposed to...
Chicken or bird? No.
No, Jill, I only want non-bird chicken.
Yeah. Or chicken or other birds like other found animals like pigeons. Yeah, that's a good one, honey. I like that one.
Strider, you about to tell me that you've developed a problem with this plant? That you got an issue with it? Ah. New avocado tree.
Oh yeah, not Katana. I've seen that place. Yeah. Hurry curry. That they always had a line out the door whenever we'd go by it. Oh, Justin, we used to be in this hotel. So five years ago, we were at the Hilton, and before that, it was at the Westin, and then it was at the USC before that. So it'll be still big, but smaller, of course, than it was at the convention center. And I know one of the reasons they're not doing the convention center because it is so darn expensive. And of course, our last scale was just before lockdown, so there was only about half the attendance, and they lost a lot of money. Fortunately, some of the companies came through and paid the difference, but they didn't get enough attendance. So they're worried about, doing the convention center thing again. So they're at the hotel.
Yeah, dial it back.
But I think
That
we'll be
makes
back
sense.
at the convention center next year, when things get, more people are traveling. So
They even went through the trouble of they weren't going to do E3 in person, but they've even canceled the digital E3.
yeah.
Which is kind of weird, man, because
Weird.
growing up, E3 was like the event, for
Yeah.
the game stuff, which, doesn't have the same cultural relevance that it used to have, because E3 was kind of it, man. Was the game news place. But, to us, that's the equivalent of Computech or Comdex.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that.
Absolutely.
Like with people going to current conventions like Comdex, you just hear rumors and stories of stuff that used to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, E3's kind of like that. I don't think it's going to be a thing anymore.
It's just the size, the number of people is the problem. They could do it, but they would just have to drastically limit it. I think that's going to happen at scale. We're probably going to scale may sell out because we're in a smaller venue. But that's the way they can control the crowds. It's just by limiting the amount of people. And we still have, in Los Angeles, some numbers that you have to limit your events to. So I'm sure that weighs heavily.
Well, conventions are going to be, just in general, conventions are going to be hard hit, mainly because of corporate sponsors. Because they've realized in the last 2 years, they're like, we're not getting a lot of return on it. They didn't see business.
Yeah, it's cheaper
They fall
online.
off. They're
Yeah.
like, we can just do this ourselves. And there's definitely going to be some pulling back. But who knows? Who knows how it, you can't predict these type of things. Could be up, could be down. I mean, it's usually going to be the exact opposite of whatever you plan for, so. Hopefully the scale will be busting at the seams. You're like, whoa.
Oh, yeah, I know it will be. Yeah, I know it will be. And then next year we'll be back at the convention center. But I'm happy Skills is here at LAX because it's literally 10 minutes from my house. So it's really convenient. And
You
I
heard
don't have
that
to get
everybody can camp out in Jill's front lawn.
No. But And it'll be a nice change to go somewhere different. And then next year it'll probably be back at the convention center. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Enjoy your
I
meeting,
would really
Steve.
like to
Have
go
a good
back.
time in your meeting.
Yeah.
that you have to
Bye,
go to.
Steve Husband. I would really like it to be back. The Westin was my favorite. Is one of my favorite hotels on Century Boulevard at LAX. Our original location for scale. That was a beautiful hotel, but it was a lot smaller than the Hilton, so that's why they're not using the Westin. It doesn't hold enough people. But it actually had the keynote speech was actually in a stadium. It was really nice. You had really comfy theater style chairs, and they had little desks, and it was just really nicely set up for keynotes, the big talks. And
Hey, Strider, there's nothing wrong with a backyard like meetup. I've done that with Chug-a-Lug before. That just kind of disappeared. Yeah, like Linux meetup's backyard. Just bring a keg. You're good.
yeah.
All right.
Steve Husband. Yeah. Skill House.
We are going to call it a day. I got to
Okay.
get to work. I got to do the boring stuff, everyone.
Yeah.
So I got to transmogrify the data bits into video, into podcast, all the other fun stuff. But let's see. Jordan will return tomorrow with some type of wacky nonsense. No idea what it's going to be, but I'm sure it will be wacky and nonsensical. And Friday, we're going to be racing for free games. A chance to win a random free game of your choosing in our Trackmania thing. If you like arcade racing, or even if you just like hanging out, talking about Linux and stuff like that while flying off a track, we got a nice mixture of both with our Trackmania 2 Stadium Filthy Casual series.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
It's a blast. It's just fun. It's silly fun, even if you're not into racing games. And hey, it's good practice. It keeps your brain active. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Something to work on. And we'll be doing that at 7:30 Eastern. It's on the Twitch schedule if you want to find that. If you're a Twitch sub or patron, hop into the Trackmania channel in our Discord and get all them deets. Everything else, or ask any other questions.
Come and play. It's so much fun.
And it runs on a calculator, and it's cheap. It's got everything going for it. If you're just a fan of bouncing around, talking some smack, or whatever else we end up talking about, because that always happens. Cool. All right. But we'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Love you all. Yay.